I'm looking around, I'm seeing lots of familiar faces. There are those that I know from the Nahinapuri school drop-off point, and from the soccer sidelines, the cricket sidelines. Yep, I can see many of those. Welcome, hello, thank you for coming. I can also see people that I've worked with previously. I spent a good decade at Fonterra doing research, so I can see some of my colleagues there. I could see, oh, there they are, yep. Welcome, thank you for coming. And I can see the farmers that I've worked with over the decades. So it's great to see you all here. For those of you that don't know me, I am Bridget Maclean, and Rowan's done a great introduction, so I don't need to go through that again. It's nice to see you and nice to meet you, and I hope to have plenty of time to get to know you more as we go through the day. What a neat day we've got here. It's so awesome to be showcasing DairyNZ's research, our science, our technology, and I'm really proud to be leading the team at DairyNZ. I'm also really lucky because starting with Jim and his opening remarks and then going through to Melissa, I feel like they've done a really great job setting the context for me today, giving some really great background. You know, Jim talked about the challenges that he and his wife and their family business has overcome in working with science. So that was a great those were great opening remarks. And then, of course, Melissa has really got us all thinking. It's a little bit scary, some of what she's saying. I particularly loved the way that she talked about the importance of curiosity. And I'm really pleased. I was thinking about that as she was talking, and I was really pleased about this, because at DairyNZ we have 4 values: credibility, courage. I'm going to forget. Oh, where's Tim? Oh, he's gone. Curiosity and curiosity, and we've got to stay curious. We've got to think about the changing world and stay curious, stay innovative, stay adaptable, stay agile. These are all kind of all buzzwords perhaps, but they are really, really important, and that's what we try to do. So thank you, Melissa, for that. I think it was a really great. Oops, I'm going to move over here. A really great summary of the headwinds and the tailwinds, the opportunities and the challenges for us as a sector. What I've put on this slide is a slightly different summary, but one that I think is I'll use the royal we as a sector think are really relevant, important challenges that we need science to help us solve. And I reckon you have a look at these lists. So, staying nationally and globally competitive. Yep, big tick, that's pretty valid. Driving profit while meeting greenhouse gas commitments and expectations for water quality. Gee, that's a pretty big, gnarly problem, isn't it? You know, doing all 3 of those things. That's a big challenge to solve with science. Building resilience into our systems, into our cows, into our forages. Whenever I go home to mum and dad's, I went home at the weekend to Northland, and my dad is still talking about what's happened to the persistency of our ryegrass. Building resilience into our animals, our forages, and then across regions as climate changes. Then creating attractive, rewarding, and productive dairy farming careers. Again, often when I talk at a forum like this, people say the number one problem is labour on farm. So slightly different words perhaps here, but I think you'll all agree these are very valid problems to solve through science. Giving our cows a life worth living. What is in fact a life worth living? How can we show that animals in our grazed pastoral systems are valued and respected? These are big, big challenges. I'm just going to quickly find some familiar faces, and I'm going to put a bit of a challenge out here. I don't think anyone in the audience is going to wholeheartedly disagree with this list of challenges. You might use slightly different words, and you might have kind of different priorities to my priorities, but I bet you don't wholeheartedly disagree. And I'm going to go with Fika, so she's sitting in the front, close to the front. She's a good nerdy, sciencey farmer from near Nahinapuri. Fika, which number of those is the most important for you?
I think number 4.
Number 4?
Staff.
Staff on farm. Cool. And while we've got the microphone, let's just go to, I think it's Andrew, who's also a local. Andrew, what do you think? A legitimate list?
Yeah, good list. I'd have to say between 1 and 2 are probably the most important. I think the last 3 really build into those. Is that if you haven't got a resilient system, if you aren't creating careers and having staff, then you don't have a profitable business. But ultimately staying nationally, globally competitive. If we're not doing that, then we are a sunset industry. So I guess that's the top of the list. But we can't stay globally competitive if we don't meet our greenhouse gas commitments. So I think they're all very interlinked.
Right, thank you very much. So a valid list of the big challenges. And if that's not enough, we've got other things to think about too. I like to think about how we kind of have 2 customer domains for what we do in New Zealand. We have, given that I think we're still sitting around 95% of our milk products are exported. So of course, that big, important market, global markets, and those really big food companies, we've got to be thinking all the time about what they need and what they want from us. And we've always known that they buy our product because it is safe and nutritious, but increasingly they're interested in everything that goes on behind the farm gate. They want to know that our product is sustainably produced. They want to understand the impact that we're having, particularly our greenhouse gas footprint, and they want to understand how we're giving our animals a good life. So that's, again, there's some huge challenges in there, and Melissa's talked a lot about those in this morning's session. But of course, we've also got our local communities in the New Zealand public, and we've got to think about them. What do they want, and what do they need, and what are their expectations from us? We are such a large and visible operations. We have such large and visible operations across New Zealand in these rural communities, and we have to deliver to the expectations of the public and our local communities. And then again, so we've got our 5 big problems to solve, we've got our 2 big customer domains. But that's not all, it doesn't end there. Because we're also this really long, skinny country with not a huge population. And the solutions that we can develop for my farming family in Northland, have we got any Northlanders? Yahoo! Flying the flag for Northland. Thank you for coming. So the solutions that we will develop for you and my family in Northland are not the same solutions that we need for my sister farming irrigated pasture in Canterbury, nor my cousins farming in Dacre and Gore in Southland. So there's a lot, we have big challenges here. Fortunately, we've got a great team. Now I'm going to just make everyone feel a little bit awkward. I'm going to say, if you're in the research team, you were meant to wear your blue shirts so I could see you. Some of you, I don't know, is it a bit cold or did some of you just forget? But I want all the research team that are here today, I just want you to quickly stand up and wave. Go on. Okay, so there's some that are not, but look, we have a great team. So as Rowena said, I lead a great team of animal scientists, of forest scientists, of social scientists, we have water quality scientists, we have farm systems experts, economists, modelers, data scientists. If I've forgotten something, quickly wave so that I can remember you. No, I think that was the majority. A great team. We have some people that have been working in research in the dairy sector for more than 40 years. And we have a whole lot in our team that have been doing this stuff for more than 25 years. Congratulations, Suzanne Marsh, you had her 25th anniversary just yesterday. And so we've got a lot of people that have a very deep knowledge and understanding of the industry and have been working in research all that time. But then, of course, we've got to stay curious, so we have some newbies. We've got some youngies in there, haven't we? Look at them. And isn't it great to have them bring that fresh thinking, keeping us curious, keeping us innovative, making sure that we're not resting on our laurels. It's a great team. The other thing I'd say about our team of scientists is a whole lot of us are really farming. We're either farmers ourselves, or we're living in rural communities, we're married to farmers, or we have been farmers. And so, we really are thinking, we're coming to work each day thinking about the importance of having solutions that are going to work on farm. You know, we're not kind of often scientists down in a little tiny office somewhere doing research for research's sake. We have a mantra at DairyNZ, and that's solutions that work on farm. And that's what we're thinking about all the time. So we're thinking about those big gnarly problems that Melissa talked about and we've talked about here, and thinking about what is it going to take to provide a solution, an option that is going to actually work on farm and make a discernible difference. And then, because we're working on these really gnarly problems, let's think, for example, about greenhouse gases and reducing methane emissions. These are really difficult problems to solve. So we've got to do this with others. Yep, we have a great team, but these are very big, broad topics, and we need to work with others. The only way that we are going to solve these problems is by collaborating. So big busy slide here. I reckon I probably could have filled 4 slides, and I reckon that there's already people there looking at this and going, hang on, I'm a research partner and you haven't got me on there yet, so you can come and have me on about that at lunchtime, and apologies if I have offended anyone. I think this is a pretty good snapshot though of our most significant research partners at the moment, or sort of in the last couple of years. And I want to draw your attention to a couple of these that are very, very important to us. Firstly, our central government investors, MPI and MB. In some years, up to about half of our research investment is coming from central government providers. So that's really awesome, and you know, we really need that investment in research. There are others here that are really significant for us too. Ag Research up there in the middle here. So our Crown Research Institute for Agricultural Science, you would expect, I'm sure, that we would be working really closely with them. I was sitting down working with the team, we're doing our planning for next year right at the moment, and when I looked at that I saw that roughly half of our programs have Ag Research as a collaboration partner. And so again, really, really important to us. And this is just about making sure that we're using our strengths and weaknesses, that we're not duplicating, and we're really making the most of that scarce research dollar. So, a couple more things I want to mention on here too. I want to mention Lincoln University, because again, when I looked at our plan for next year, about a third of our programs have a strong partnership with Lincoln. And I guess part of this is, you know, we've got some great research farms in Newstead, over the other side of the river, 25 minutes away, 30 minutes away. We also use the Lincoln Research Farm and the Lincoln Demonstration Farm for research and demonstration, just really getting that regionally specific research that is so important. One more I want to mention on here, Fonterra. So I reckon probably, 80% of the audience will probably be Fonterra suppliers. And so you probably already know that Fonterra has a pretty big R&D department, about 300 or so people in there, a smaller number working in on-farm research, but nevertheless really important for us. And of course Fonterra brings the knowledge of the markets. They bring the knowledge of those big food companies and what they need from us, so really important to work with them so that we understand what we need to be doing, what we need to be working towards across the 10-year period. Like Melissa, she had a great little thing about slowly, slowly, fast. And I have slightly different words, but I totally agree with this. And someone really famous has a quote that says, you tend to underestimate how much will change over a 10-year period, and then grossly, did I get that right? Yeah. And then overestimate how much will change over a 2 to 3 year period, and I think that fitted really well with what Melissa said. And again, we sort of feel like that too, and it means that we have to, when we're thinking about research, it's a long-term game. We really have to be thinking out 10 years as a minimum. We have to really be thinking about what is going to be needed by then, and how much change will have occurred, because there will be plenty. I just want to mention one more thing on this slide, and these are the regional research partners that we work with. So we work with, let me find them here, Karanaki Dairy Trust, we work with Northland Dairy Development Trust, and Southern Dairy Development Trust. And again, this is getting us that regional focus and the ability to do really well-controlled science, really well-controlled research in these regions. So really pleased to be able to work with them. And yeah, I really like this quote, and I think it's a really great one for DairyNZ. It is amazing what you can accomplish if you don't care who gets the credit. And I think, again, this is a really important thing to be thinking about when we're thinking about solutions to these wicked or very, very challenging problems that we're working on. You know, for us, it's much more about finding solutions that will work on farm for the future than it is about kind of getting our name up in lights and saying, hey, it was our idea and we did all the work. It's about all working together to solve those problems. Right, so we've talked about the problems, these challenges, and we've talked a little bit about how we do the research, who's involved there, what are we actually doing. So, I looked at the program and I see that following me, we are going to be talking quite specifically about 17 of our projects or programs. That's roughly half of our work that we have going on at the moment. We have 7 big programs of work, and then we have about 30 big projects. Some of them are around the room here, and I really encourage you to come engage with scientists, engage with the displays, ask questions. There's no dumb questions today. Paul Jamison, maybe you'll have a dumb question, you might be an exception. But for the rest of you, there's no dumb question. Please come and talk to the scientists. Again, we have got these blue shirts on and we really want to talk to you. We really want to share our research with you. But to summarise what we're working on here today, I've pulled together this slide. You know, our research is all about future-proofing the sector. We are here to develop farm systems and sector-scale solutions for farmers to be internationally competitive, locally responsible and regionally resilient. That's what we're here to do. And so again, all the projects and programs and the research that you're going to hear after me is all contributing to at least one of those outcomes. And as we saw with the big problems that we looked at right at the start of this presentation, much of what we do is contributing to the delivery of more than one of these, you know. For example, the work we're doing to reduce methane emissions, that's very much about maintaining our international competitiveness, but it's also about doing the right thing locally. And so that's again kind of the lens we're always looking at. Is it going to help us be internationally competitive, locally responsible, or regionally resilient? And I want you to, I'm going to drop down, how am I going, Rona? Are we good? Okay, cool. So I'm going to drop down in a moment and talk a little bit more about our Less Methane program. But before I do, I just want you to look at this slide and think about this with the eyes of a researcher that's thinking out 10 years from now all the time. And we look at our New Zealand systems and our beautiful grazed pastoral-based systems. And when we look at them, we think about the benefits of this. We think about the naturalness. We think about the safety of the milk, the quality of the products. And we look at our contented animals out there. And we're thinking about how we maximise the benefits, how we capitalise on the opportunities provided by these farm systems. But at the same time, we're very much thinking about the challenges and the risks associated with that. And when we're thinking about research, we really do have to, think deeply about this, because here on this side here, but we do have some farms that look like that in New Zealand, but still if we look at our 10,500 dairy farms in New Zealand, that might be coming down a little bit now, the vast majority are more like this than they are like this. And so again, we're thinking about the opportunities that this provides us, but also thinking about the risks associated with that. And one of those is when we think about less methane and we think about the need to reduce our methane emissions, there are some things that are much easier to do when you're farming this kind of system than here. And so again, we've got the benefits of naturalness, grass-fed, pasture-based, grazed systems. There's some lovely benefits there. But there's also some stuff that's quite hard to do when you're out on pasture for, most of the year at least. So for example, how do you feed a methane inhibitor to animals that are only visiting the shed in some cases once a day, compared to being able to mix a methane inhibitor into your total mixed ration and feed in a combined dairy situation. So these are the kind of things that we're thinking about all the time as we do our research. Now I'm going to talk quickly about the Less Methane program. This is one of our programs that, as I said, contributes to our work to make sure we're internationally competitive, but also to make sure that we are locally responsible in doing our bit and meeting the needs of our local communities and our local government, our central government targets as well. I'm just going to talk about this quickly because many of you are going to be coming to the session this afternoon on Less Methane that is going to be presented by Alina Mene, and she'll go into much more detail, but I just want to pick up on a few points here when we're thinking about solving those really big issues. So our Less Methane program, it has 3 parts to it. We have the first bit, which is all around us testing and assessing methane reduction technology through our facilities. I'm going to have a quick look at a video of one of our facilities in just a moment. But this is primarily work that we do for commercial companies where they bring methane inhibitors at different stages of development, and we test them out. We test them out, and again, what are we doing? We're looking to make sure that we develop solutions that are going to work in New Zealand pasture-based systems. 5 minutes, okay, awesome. Then of course we have to make sure that we can be fairly rewarded for the use of methane inhibitors, so the accounting systems are really important, and how we keep track of the amount of methane emissions is really important, so we're doing that too. I don't think I need to dwell on why we need to reduce methane emissions. If you're still unconvinced, please come and talk to me at lunchtime and I'll bring this slide along. Not only do we have some pretty important government targets to meet, but hey, we've got the biggest food companies in the world asking us to reduce our methane emissions on farm, and they're our big customers. So they're in fact much more rigorous than our government's targets. If you look at Nestle, biggest food company in the world, asking for a 50% reduction by 2030, and really wanting to see evidence that we have a plan to do this. Hey, you've probably all seen this image before. It's a great research work showing the carbon footprint of New Zealand milk versus other countries, and yep, we're doing really well there. We are currently the lowest emitter per kg of milk solids, but we can't rest on our laurels. We absolutely can't. Those of you who take a photo, I'll give you 1 second longer, but you can also Google Stu Ledgard and research carbon footprint. So yeah, we're kind of leading that race to be the lowest emitter per kg of milk solids, but you know what? There are others right on our heels, and I guess if you think back to that slide I had that showed our systems versus a TMR or a confined dairy, there are things that you can do in a confined dairy really quickly to reduce methane that we can't do in a grazed pastoral system. So again, we've really got to be working on this. I want to quickly go to this because this is just really cool. I want to show you one of our methane facilities at Live Farm over at Newstead. It's a wonderful, we call it our early life methane facility, where we're able to take 100 calves and compare different methane inhibitor treatments with them. I mean, how cool would it be if we were able to do something, feed something to calves in the first few days after being born, and that would give us a permanent, or at least a couple of years, of methane emission reduction. I mean, this has got to be something that we're really chasing, because this is just such an attractive way of delivering a methane inhibitor and getting those reductions. This is the largest facility of its type in the world. What I really love about 100 calves is you really get very credible science from from 100 calves. When it comes to science, big is better as far as numbers go. And so when we do this research, and sometimes the research works really well, and we go, yay, this looks very promising, let's continue. Other times it doesn't work well, but at least we know, at least we then stop investing money in things that aren't promising and leave that money for things that are. So it's a great facility. We're actually going to have an open day at Life Farm in May, and I really welcome you all to come and have a look at our methane facilities, which are the best and biggest in the world at this time. My final 2 slides, I just want to do a bit of a, remember we talked about the challenges of working on a long, skinny country with not too many people. So we do work regionally. We know that we have to deliver regional solutions, things that work in Northland won't necessarily work in Southland. The problems that my Southland cousins are trying to solve are different ones to Northland farmers. And we have some great regional research facilities there. In particular, call out to Northland Ag Research Farm, our farm, 2 research farms in the Waikato, Taranaki and Southern Dairy Hub. Great research facilities. And look, I am a little bit of a glass half full kind of person, and so I'm feeling really, really optimistic about what we can do. Yes, they are wicked problems to solve, but we have a great team, we collaborate strongly with others that are also excellent. We're thinking about this stuff, we're staying curious, we're staying innovative. I'm really confident that the science that you're going to hear about today is going to be the technology of tomorrow.
Fabulous. We've got time for just 2 questions. So we've got Frank and Kent out there with microphones. Bridget, I do just want to say it was great seeing in that video the calves running to the seaweed. I always wondered how that would go down with the calves and the cows. So just 2 questions. Has anyone got anything they want to further ask Bridget about the research that's going on at DairyNZ? Just a reminder, we will be hearing from 9 of the scientists just before lunch, I think it is today, in the middle session. So they will be explaining some of the projects that are going on here, and then everyone is available in the breaks. Kent, you've got a question there with you.
Morning, Bridget. Thanks for your address. It's great to witness your passion for research. One of the things I'm passionate about on our farm is growing lots of grass. So I'm really keen to hear today about the research that you've got underway at the moment to ensure that in 10 years' time, we as pastoral farmers are growing more grass than we are today.
Yeah, cool. That's a great question. And when I got here first thing this morning, I had to cut 5 slides out of my talk because it was going to go way over. And one of them was our program called Advancing Forage Frontiers, and which is, you would have loved to hear about, and I encourage you to come and talk with me, and also Alina, who runs that program. But again, it's huge priority for DairyNZ. And we have kind of 3 things that we're really focusing on there. We are focusing on what climate change is going to mean to the persistency and productivity of our pastures. And so we're really trying to understand what's going to change, when's it going to change, how's it going to change, and sort of over what time period. And again, really thinking about that fact that we expect a lot of change in 10 years. We might not be seeing so much change over the next 2 to 3 years. So that's the first part of it. Then we have the second part of it, which we are calling driving adapted forages. And again, this is very much around thinking about what's going to happen over the next 10 years and what we need to do to respond. We have a big, we are trying to pull together a big government-funded project, a sustainable farming, food and fibres futures program, working on that. And again, a lot of plans around what we will do there. I look forward to talking to you at lunchtime.
And one question there with you, Frank.
Hi. Is there a pathway for farmers to put forward potential research ideas for DairyNZ scientists?
Yeah, a number of different pathways. often in the kind of concept forming phase of our 7 big programs, we have significant farmer contribution. And in fact, when I look over all our programs and projects, about 80% have farmer contribution early on. And so that's kind of one way. We also, and I think it's kind of important to get in there at the ideation stage. The other thing that we do have an end user panel that we're using, and this is kind of a new thing because we've got a very broad portfolio and we just want to make sure that we are staying really relevant. And so we're pulling this end user panel together, and their role will be really to assess the relevance of our research and make sure that we are covering the research requirements right across the country. So again, I'd be really happy to talk to you at lunchtime about whether you would like to contribute to either of those pathways.
Brilliant, ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Bridget Maclean.